Uh, I deal with commercial property matters, and we've had a number of inquiries and some advice we've been given to clients of whether they're landlords or whether they're tenants of commercial property as to the insurance situation they may have. Often landlords have the obligation in a lease to arrange the insurance for the general property insurance, and then the tenant pays the premium for their part of the property to the landlord. And often those policies, as I'm sure you'll explain, will have various conditions in them, such as regular attendance at the property, looking after particular services, and some health and safety issues.
I think it's a good question, actually, because I think that the main thing that's cropped up from following the COVID-19 outbreak is the issue over unoccupied properties. So where tenants vacate properties, particularly if it's an industrial unit with some manufacturing base in there and they can no longer work there and the property becomes unoccupied, then clearly the concern there is what insurance are the insurers going to provide for the property, and more importantly for the tenant as well, is the loss of rent item as well, which is invariably included within the property insurance coverage that we arrange. So as a result of COVID-19, insurers have responded by relaxing their requirement on notification if properties become unoccupied. If the property was previously unoccupied prior to the outbreak of COVID-19, and insurers have imposed certain restrictions, such as letterboxes having to be sealed, water turned off, power turned off, the property having to be regularly checked to ensure that from a risk point of view it's still okay. Those requirements would probably still remain in place, apart from the last one regarding regular attendance. But if the property becomes temporarily unoccupied, then insurers have effectively waived their requirements of prior notification. Before COVID, if a property becomes unoccupied, insurers normally allowed a 30-day period of unoccupancy before having to be notified. That's now been relaxed quite considerably, and it really varies from one insurer to another. Some insurers have increased that 30-day period to 45 days, others to 60 days, and others to 90, and some have actually removed it altogether. So it's worth your clients just checking with their own insurance broker just to make sure what requirements are in place with their specific insurer, because every insurer is different.
And tenants themselves will have their own contents insurance, probably, for all their equipment, furniture, PCs, all that. And if they were to suffer a burglary or a break-in during the lockdown, is there anything in particular they should be worrying about from an insurance point of view there? Or again, should they be checking with their cover and their brokers as to any particular conditions?
But I think the same situation applies as it does for the property owner with regards to temporary unoccupancy. The main requirement the insurers will always have is that if there's a burglar alarm in place or there's good physical security in place, locks and window locks and door locks, that those are set and put in place if the property becomes unoccupied. Where it might differ slightly is some insurers might be a bit more harsh with regards to their requirements. Some might require the letterbox to be sealed, for example. Some might require water to be turned off. Again, hence the reason why I say that it's worth checking with their insurance advisor, just to make sure that they're not contravening any specific requirements within the insurance policy.
Okay, well, that's very interesting, Theo. Thank you very much. It helps, I think, if people are watching this, to get some idea of the practicalities involved, and just to double check with their brokers more than anything else, and to consider the risks going forward and what, if anything, they should be doing with their own property.
Right, and I think it's important to keep having that dialogue with insurers, with insurance brokers, insurance advisors, just to make sure that that everybody knows what is or is not covered, what are the sort of effectively the small print within the policies, because they're always going to be small print, and it's there. You have to read it. The obligation is on you as the policy holder to read the policy, and if it's not in the policy, effectively, it's not covered.